believe it or not, you're a leader. Um, you have an influence on someone around you. I think the reason why you don't think you're not a leader is because people have attributed leadership to a position, right? They've attributed it to a position like, okay, well, I'm not the manager at work, or I'm just one of the floor staff, I'm just one of the employees, right? And we think the big guys, the managers, and the rest of them are the leaders. So, or the. Is the leader, So because you don't really think you have any position of leadership, most people don't think or don't see themselves as a leader. All right. So, and I think so. It's very common that people would not really, if you ask how many of you are a leader, most people will not put their hand up because they've attributed it to a certain role, a certain position, and certain things that I do that makes me a leader. But leadership is beyond the role or the status or what you do. Leadership is who you really are. And that's why all of you are leaders. And if you can influence one person by your action, you're a leader. And every one of you, you've influenced one person in your entire life. That makes you a leader. Because even if you've influenced them to do the wrong thing, even like when you're growing up, maybe you influence your brother to steal cookie, you're a leader. You're a leader. Leadership is influence. Is you've made someone do something that they would not normally or naturally do. They did it because of you. That makes you a leader. So if you think through your life, you would remember instances where at least one person has been under your influence and they've done something because you asked them to do it, or because you've shown them how to do it, or just because they see you and they just want to do something because your presence compelled them to do, even without saying a word to them. Does that make sense? So, and then I've got two little boys right now that are growing up looking at me. Some things they're going to do just because they see me doing it. Some things they're going to do just because I compel them to do it. So leadership is very important. And you have to, if you have not been seeing yourself as a leader, you have to start from today to begin to see yourself, regardless of how old you are, you're a leader. Even right now, my two boys, they're both leaders because if the younger one influences the older one to do nasty stuff and vice versa. And the older one would influence the younger one to do other things. So does that make sense? So even both of them right now, they're leaders because they're both leading each other without even knowing it, because they've got influence on each other. All right? So it doesn't matter how old you think you are, you're a leader. And I don't want you to get stuck in thinking that, okay, unless I have a position, then I'm not a leader. Actually, the lowest level of leadership is positional leadership. It's actually the lowest level. If I command followership or respect just because I have a position, then I'm a weak leader. If you don't have respect for me, you don't think highly of me, you don't listen to me, but the moment you realize I'm your boss and then you respect me because of that, then I'm a very weak leader. There are people that in your circle right now at work or whatever, you have no respect for them. You're just doing what they ask you to do because you don't want to lose your paycheck. Or you don't want to get fired. You don't want to lose your job. So that's what you call all those boss, It's all those kind of people. They might even say, do as I say, not as I do. So you'd be like, dude, you don't even live by your own words. But you can't say that to them because they got to sign the check, right? So, but that's the lowest level of leadership, that people listen to you because I have a position. But the best way to actually be a leader is to, without position, to still be able to influence other people to do the right thing or to motivate them towards a goal. Leadership is influence. And what is influence? I was just on Google last night. Influence is the capacity to have an effect on the character, development, or behavior of someone or something. That's what influence is. You have an effect on the character, the development, or behavior of someone or something. So that's why I said if you have that kind of effect on someone, on their character, on their behavior, on their development, someone or something, that makes you a leader. I was reading something last week, and I read something on Instagram, and I wrote it down. It says you have influence when people start noticing your absence more than the presence of others. So let's say there are 10 people in the room, but you were not in the room. But people notice that you're not there, even though there were other 10 people there. You know you have influence. You've become a vital part of that team, of that organization, to the point that your absence is more important than even the presence of the rest of the people that were there. So that's the power of influence. And you can think about it in the world of politics, in the world of sports, in the world of arts, whatever it is. There are key people that have so much influence that the world will stand still to just hear them speak. People will pay thousands of dollars to just fly to go and watch them perform or watch them play, whatever it is you want to put it, because of so much influence. And if a football team is playing and the best player on that team is not there, you would not really care about the rest of the team that are present. Well, like, oh, my guy is not there, I'm not watching the match. But dude, there are 12 other people or 12 other players on the pitch. But you don't care about the remaining players. You are just concerned about your guy, the best player is not there. So that's influence. But leadership starts with you, because you can't lead others well until you've learned to lead yourself well. You can't do it. You will be like that boss that I talked about earlier that will say, do as I say, not as I do. And now you will be commanding respect. You will be asking for respect. It's almost like you'll be bullying people to respect you, because your life will not really match what you are saying or what you are asking for. So leadership, it starts with leading yourself well. The one person that you can actually lead, that you should actually be more focused on leading, is yourself, not the other people. And when I can lead myself well, then I can now lead others well to achieve a common goal or a purpose or whatever they're working towards. I heard this quote many years ago. It says, if you're leading and no one is following you, you are just taking a walk. You're not leading. You are just taking a walk in the park. You're just like, let's go for a walk. Because leadership requires that some people are following you. They're following your footstep. You are influencing some people to the point that, it's almost like they're looking up to you for direction, for guidance, for leadership. Like I said, one day you'll be married, you would have kids, and you will have your wife and your kids looking up to you. Daddy, what should I do? Your wife will come to you, babe, what should I do? But if you're leading and nobody is following you, you are not a leader, you are just taking a walk. All right? I think I went to watch a movie many years ago. I don't really have time to go to cinemas these days, but I remember I was watching this movie and there was a statement that actually stuck with me. It says, when there is no one to lead, you be the leader. Because sometimes you are in a place where you're realizing that it's just chaos. And when there is lack of leadership in a place, in a system, in a house, you have to step up and be the leader. And that's why as a man, you have to have the mindset of, I am a leader. And so, leading yourself well is where it starts. You have to be self-driven, self-disciplined, and self-motivated as a leader. In the journey of leadership, you have to be accountable to yourself. Your leadership development is entirely your responsibility. You can learn from other people. You can have mentors. You can submit yourself to mentors and say, you know what, coach me in this area. But even that is still your responsibility. It's still your own journey. You still have to own it. Like when I sit with my mentors and I have meetings with them, they will give me some rundown of the things they think I should be working on. But guess what? It's up to me to work on them. They're not gonna call me and say, Tim, did you work on what we spoke about last week? They don't. They never asked me once. But they will know if I worked on it or not. And that would determine if they will give me their time next time. But they will never call me and say, Tim, have you worked on what we spoke about? No, because it's my responsibility. It's my job. I have to own that process. They can be there for me to ask questions. They can show me the rope, or help me navigate some situation. But after that is done, I have to own it.